So I just saw Missing Link, the latest movie by Laika Animations. Who are Laika, I hear you asking? We didn't ask! Well, I'm glad you did. Laika is one of the few remaining studios to work primarily in stop motion, obscure compared to their more notable Aardman animations, creating movies like Coraline, Paranorman, The Box Trolls, and Cuba and the Two Strings. And that's their entire library of feature films over the last 10 years. A small list, but an impressive one. Hell, The Box Trolls may be one of my favorite stop-motion movies, only surpassed by the works of Wes Anderson. So let's let that act as a disclaimer to some of my preconceived biases going in. In a way, Laika is the Pixar of stop-motion, and with their previous works breaking new grounds and pushing the scale of the medium as they did, Missing Link had some big shoes to fill. Ha! Unfortunately for Laika, Missing Link didn't quite have the same magic that their other films had. First off, I kinda need to tap the brakes and backpedal a little, cause Missing Link is in no way a bad film. It showcases really good visuals, most of the time, with a well-organized plot progression, most of the time, and really good character dialogue and motivations. Most of the time. Are you seeing a pattern here? For the most part, I feel the film really suffers from a bit of a conflict with Laika's style, an issue I felt prevalent in Cuba and the Two Strings as well. To properly analyze these details, I will have to get into spoiler territory though, so if you don't want that, skip to the time shown here. We start with an opening of Sir Lionel Frost, played by Hugh Jackman, a cryptozoologist whose history of failures and disastrous expeditions leads him to becoming a laughingstock amongst the gentlemen of his community, and the loss of yet another one of his assistants. But soon after, Sir Lionel receives a letter requesting his help with the Sasquatch, and with it correlating with other evidence he has, he is quick to jump at the opportunity. He ventures forth to some form of adventurers guild, I assume, where he is unpleasantly greeted by a group of great gentlemen, one of which is Lord Pigot Dunsby, who, aside evidently being a great hunter and journeyman, is adamantly against Sir Lionel's pursuit and discovery of this creature. Yeah, why would explorers want to discover things, right? That challenges the traditions, after all. This is about the point that we really begin to empathize with Sir Lionel. Before now, his demeanor comes off as a bit callous and self-absorbed. Honestly, he's a bit of a dick most of this movie. Even after now. But hey, he's British, what else could we say? This confrontation leads to a wager between Mr. Freeze and Lord Dunstbag that if Sir Lionel discovers the Sasquatch, he will gain admission into the guild. With his pride at stake and a strangely irrational fear of new discoveries for a man that was boasting his many expeditions and discoveries, Piglet hires an assassin to ensure Linus Tech's expedition is a failure. And this is really one thing I take issue with. Lord Douchey's motivations and character just don't match up, as if his only purpose is to be a greater amount of dick compared to Lionel. A dick, if you will. Yeah, I made that joke solely to show off this crossbreed of rabbit and gazelle. What of it? It's a movie about cryptozoology. Alright, so Lionel heads out to the American Northwest, where he discovers Bigfoot pretty much immediately. At least I assume so, because there really is no frame of reference for time passing. But it turns out the Sasquatch is actually intelligent. Supposedly, he is played by Zach Galifianakis, so I'll let you decide there. And was the one who wrote the letter to O.G. Barnum here. It turns out Mr. Link, the name Frost gives the Sasquatch, is the last of his kind, and out of loneliness, he seeks others like him. Seeing the legends of the Yeti as possibly being a close cousin to his kind, he requests Lionel to help him find the Yeti Society. They're on a giant panda, and Lionel's basically Norio Suzuki at this point. Look him up. Of course, Miss Lioness agrees in exchange for proof of the Bigfoot's existence, and they set off to get instructions to find the Yetis from an old friend of Lionel's, encountering hitmen and hijinks on the way. Skipping that, Frost and Mr. Link go to visit the wife of his departed friend, Miss Adeline Fortnite, played by Zoe Saldana. Unfortunately, she's not a painted alien chick, so no box office bust for you. Who, after being robbed by them, just ends up joining them on the way. Seems reasonable to me. I mean, come on, let's go. You know, for a strong, independent woman, though, she plays virtually no purpose in this film in any way whatsoever. So I will simply not mention her again. So they go to try to board a train and end up running into the hitman. They instead hop on a boat and run into the hitman again. And it's about this point that I started noticing a creeping feeling of doom slowly spread over me as I fidgeted in my seat and checked for more popcorn. I was getting bored. And that's really the biggest problem with this film. It feels quite slow and dragging for its relatively short runtime, mixed with a predictability that feels as if by design. This movie just feels like it takes forever to find a painfully formulaic conclusion. I don't think I need to go any further to explain. If you know your tropes, you know how it ends. The film starts with so much energy, vibrance, and an interesting plot, only to collapse into a more dull, drab, and predictable film halfway in. To start, we have such interesting visuals and vibrantly lit atmospheres, devolving slowly into become dull and lacking in an imagination. I am not sure if they ran low on time, budget, or simply inspiration, but something happened midway through design. I assume some would argue that it's meant for contextual tone, but you don't manage to make a walk through a backdrop of logs pop with so much warmth, charm in a single scene, just for everything later to feel so jarringly emotionless despite some of the more interesting settings. However, the voice work is pretty spot on throughout. Hugh Jackman really pulls off the posh, almost Sherlock tone of Sir Lionel. Zoe Saldana has a wonderfully crisp accent and tone. And Zach Galifianakis, well, he's good. I honestly think he puts it best.
It would be nice if I would do a voice once that wasn't overweight.
Those are his words, not mine. Everyone does a wonderful job capturing their character and bringing a lot of heart to their tone, with some very well-timed and delivered humor that has that dry British style. Unfortunately, it all begins to feel one-note and predictable, to that point that you likely can finish the character's sentences for them. Missing Link overall gets a 4 out of 8 from me. It's got some chuckles here and there, and possessed some great moments of truly impressive visuals that Laika is known for. But it's evenly weighed down by a lack of inspiration and variety. I understand Laika typically aims for a very different tone and style, usually favoring dark themes and settings, and that style is constantly peeking through the paint of Missing Link, coming off as if they were fighting themselves the entire way, only to eventually dull their edge in the process. Of course, as usual, public opinion disagrees with me, with critics and moviegoers alike giving it quite a positive response. Though it had a very poor turnout in the box office. I'll leave the speculation on why open to you all. But hey, I don't think that will hurt Laika at all. Even Pixar has had its share of general flops before. I just want to clarify though, if you enjoyed this movie, that's fine. And I would like to hear what you took away from this experience that I may not have. Unfortunately, Missing Link just didn't connect with me in any meaningful way. Well, thank you for watching Beasts and Vermin. Join me next time for... Well, let's see if this one breaks the mold a little. Okay, hello there all you beasts and vermin, for the post-credits part where I just ramble and barely say anything in a coherent manner as I drink a beer again. As usual, so I'm gonna keep doing these at the ending of all of the fuzzy thoughts, cause, well, I guess this is the fuzziest thought of all, ain't it? So, sorry this one came out a bit late, having a lot of schedule conflicts as usual, always trying to figure that out. This one took way too long to record because I just had a bunch of shit stack on top of each other, bunch of tabletop games, had some commission work I had to do for her convention stuff, and some other projects, all that shit. I am working on a new idea, which, by the way, this is just an idea for now. I will be starting this after I get the Bubsy review out at the least. But I plan to actually turn my old Foresight Gaming channel into a tabletop gaming channel, which, was what it was supposed to be originally. Fun fact for you, trivia. Put that on my Wikipedia page. But I am going to change that into probably First Side Gaming or something and create a new character and do a bunch of storytime stuff. Like I've been watching with like Puffin Forest. He's like probably the only one who still does it, actually. And there was Spoonie, and of course, Pro Jared's not going to be doing it anymore, obviously. So there seems to be a big vacuum open now for me to kind of sneak right in. And I don't know, I'm trying to think of a character for that. I've gotten advice. I was going to originally use Mursa for it, but I can't voice her very well. And someone actually gave me the idea of using a mouse, so I might do that. I'm going to do some sketches for that. What else do I have? Of course, I've watched... I got Detective Pikachu coming up. I will have watched it by the time this review has come out. And I have already watched Ugly Dolls twice. Real show now. And Ugly Dolls I had to watch twice because I had what they call a bit of a boomer moment and went into the wrong theater. Thank you, technology. Sat in there for 20 minutes like past time, like, why isn't the movie starting yet? Dude, this is so weird. And then, of course, Missing Link started, and I was like, oh shit, well, got in there as they're already in Perfectionville or whatever. So, yeah, I'm planning on doing that one. Not that I had to go back and watch it. The movie's pretty predictable, and you already know the plot. I didn't miss anything, actually. Going back in there, I just watched the first 20, 30 minutes and was like, all right, got what I needed, and walked out. It was actually the first movie I've seen where, like, the rest of the people in the theater walked out too, which I don't get it. Ugly Dolls is not a good movie, but I wouldn't call it, like, so bad that, like, the family crowd should walk out on it. That's a little weird to me. I don't know, maybe I missed something, maybe there's something controversial that I didn't catch on to. Oh, it's really hot in here, so I'm drinking down all this stuff. Got a fan on. So I probably should limit this time. These takes actually went pretty smoothly this time around, but I don't want to make this part too long. Tell me what you guys think of the Foresight Gaming idea. First Side Gaming, I might rename the channel. Give me your ideas on what kind of character maybe to make on it. And still working on Bubsy. Actually, I'm going to be working mainly on Bubsy over the next week. And that's about it. So, until next time, Beasts and Vermin, I'll catch you later. Take care.